tutorial starts with a song, but it's only a few seconds long.
Computer animation. Computer animation. Computer animation.
Let's get started with animation. You might have guessed it, it's about textures, 2D and 3D textures. Let's create a cube. Well, right mouse click, we assign a new material. And we go to a Maya material, a Lambert shader, because it's the simplest shader you can have. And here is the color. If you choose a color of red, it goes red. But we'll use this icon here. And then we find textures. And we select a 2D texture. This is a selection of 2D textures we can use. Let's use the grid because I like the grid. You can't see it because you need to click either here or type in 6. I think when we go to place 2D texture, it's a 2D, it's like it's painted, it's wrapped on top of that cube here. If you make the repetition from 4 by 4 to 8 by 8, you have this nice box system here. Really nice. So when we move the cube or scale it or rotate it, it is totally intact. Everything is fine. This is due to the UV mapping of the standard cube here. You don't have to do anything. The texture just fits nicely. Okay, now we create another cube. It sits inside the other one. So let's do the same thing as before. Make it a little bit smaller. Put it on top of the grid. And this time, right mouse click, new material. We choose a Maya Lambert, but instead of, we'll click here again, instead of a 2D texture, we choose a 3D texture. For example, this is a selection of 3D textures, marble. And you see the marble working here. It sits on that surface. So remember, when we move the this cube here, this is how it works. However, when we move this one, we have a strange effect. And that's the effect of the 3D texture. It can be very, very interesting in a movie context, but it's slightly irritating if you don't know how to handle it. So what we can do now is we pick this new object because it arrived in the scene together with our 3D texture. And we click here on Fit to Group box. That means it sort of jumps to that cube, to the new cube here. We can scale it down like this and move it over here. Let's reset the transformations here so it's back there at the center of the scene, and we can select the cube and modify reset transformation so it goes back there as well. And now we hide the big cube, pressing H. So we have the two ones right here. Now we can go to this one, make Fit to Group box. Now we have the exact position here. So what you typically do in order to get the texture moving, rotating and scaling with the cube instead of floating through it, you would typically pick both of them and create a group, which is under Edit and Group, or Control G. Now when you select the group, you have this effect which you use from a standard texture procedure with a 2D texture, but with the flexibility of picking that texture here and rotating it like this, for example. So we have an independent texture. And by the way, And that's what I'm going to show you at the end of this tutorial. Let's create a new scene. So the question is, when you have a 2D texture like the checkerboard or the grid, can you convert it into a floating projection, a 3D texture? Yes, you can. Let's create a cube again, just to stick to that methodology. Right mouse click, new material. That's going to be a Maya Lambert again, and we map it again with our grid, and we change the placement now. We need to press the key 6 to, instead of 8, we choose 16 this time, which is nice too. And this is a 2D projection, so it sticks to our object, no problem at all. Just what we had before. And now you open the Hypershade window, which is this icon here. It shows you an empty space. That's the space where you want to work. Middle mouse drag our striped Lambert shader into that area here. And click on this icon because it shows you the input and output connections of the Lambert shader. Like this, sorry. It shows us the Place 2D texture node, which is a placement node. It doesn't have color information. It's the node where we put in 16 numbers. The next thing is the color node, which is the grid basically, and it sends its out color to the color input of the Lambert. That's why we see the grid on the Lambert. And then it goes to the surface shader group of the Lambert. It's not a volume shader and it's not a displacement shader, which we could handle here as well, of course. Now let's create a projection node, which is the name for a 3D texture, really. So I type in Pro, that is enough, and I see projection already, and it lands here in the scene. It doesn't have a function currently, but you can see it has an out color. And it has an input for an image. So what we do now is we deactivate this line here, because this is the grid which sends the color directly to our Lambert, and we don't want that for now. So let's delete this with the delete button, and then we map the out color of the grid into our projection. We want it to be a projection now, and the out color of that projection node now to the input color of the Lambert shader. And now we can close this, and we see that something has changed dramatically. We can click on interactive placement now. Maya asks us, do you want to create a placement node? Oh, sure, we want to have a placement node, and this is this thing which sits here, and it does something. Let us scale it up a bit, and then you see our grid reappearing. And that's a straight projection. Of course, you can choose other kinds of projections like the spherical projection, but I don't want to irritate you too much. This is just the starting point here. You can rotate this, so you get this really cool effect. And of course, you can use this for projecting things on a wall, like with a beamer or any other kind of things. And having said this, I wish you a very good day. Bye-bye.